Good afternoon and welcome to the Nicole Mason Show, a show where we showcase phenomenal women who are moving the world with their gifts, talents, and skills doing great things. Today, it is my indeed honor and pleasure to have two very special guests here with me in the studio. And I just want to thank you for tuning in, setting your clocks for 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to join us for the show. On this show, you will be inspired, you will be motivated, and you will be informed. And so today I am super excited to have with me two pioneering women, one of which is one of the founding members of the Federally Employed Women, Miss Allie Latimer, Esquire. And she is one of the founding members of our organization, and she has many firsts to her credit. First African-American woman to rise to the ranks of senior executive service in the federal government. First African-American woman to serve as general counsel of one of our federal agencies. And the list goes on and on. She was recently honored by the American Bar Association and so many other accolades for the work that she has done in the area of civil rights and women's advancement. My second guest, who is my sister and my colleague at the Department of Commerce, Michelle Crockett. She is our current national president for Federally Employed Women, and she too has a list of accolades to her credit. As our national president, she was one of the only presidents to be interviewed on CNN. She is much sought after by the media to talk about women's rights issues and the advancement of women in the federal government. She's a wife, a mom, and an EEO director. She's just a bad sister. And I am so thankful to call her my sister and my friend. So I welcome the both of them to the Nicole Mason Show. I am so super excited that they are with me this afternoon. And you all know, if few members are watching, you all know that Miss Allie Latimer, she gives perfect instructions. And so when she asked me about the format for today, when I told her, she said, "No, I want you to do it this way." So I'm going to do it just the way Miss Allie has instructed me to do it. And this conversation and discussion is going to be very natural and very organic because we have had these conversations on many occasions, Michelle and I, and certainly Miss Allie, who is one of my mentors. And so I just want to start this conversation, go right into it so that we can discuss women's issues. But I want you to get to know our national president, Michelle Crockett, and I want her to share with you why women's issues and fighting for women's issues are so important. And I also want her to tell you about our wonderful organization, and I am truly biased, I must say. I serve on the National Board of Directors, and so I thoroughly enjoy this organization, its mission, and I'm so happy to be a part of this organization and to serve under this president, Michelle Crockett. So welcome, Michelle. Welcome, Miss Allie, to the Nicole Mason Show. And so, Michelle, we're going to start with you, and you can talk to the audience about your passion as it relates to this organization and what this organization means to you and just what is the mission. Just share with us about Federally Employed Women.
Thank you, Nicole. That's such a wonderful introduction. I first want to start by saying congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this phenomenal accomplishment of having your own show.
Thank you.
Truly, you are a powerful woman moving forward, helping all of us to move forward. We are so very fortunate to be able to have you on our National Board of Directors leading this organization. This tremendous organization, world-class organization, I like to refer to as Federally Employed Women.
Yes.
But about my passion for the organization and why this is so very, very important to me. If you were to look at the statistics around 1968 when our organization was first founded, and you look at the present day statistics, let's just take the statistics from 2011. At that time, 43.7% of the federal sector was comprised of women. However, at the senior levels, there were only 37%.
Wow.
So it means that we have made tremendous strides, but we have a very, very long way to go. If I were to think about my own personal journey, my passion, what fuels me, is reflecting back on my life, being raised in a small town in the South, thinking about my mother, witnessing some of the atrocities that occurred with my mother, how my mother was often disrespected. And for me, as a child, I realized, and I always wanted my mother to speak up and use her voice, because for me, she is the most powerful, was the most powerful woman in my life. But she never did. She was a very quiet force in what she did. So I realized when I entered the federal sector over 25 years ago, the most valuable tool that I had was my voice. I always wanted to be the voice in the room whenever there was a decision that was being made that would directly impact me or others within the workplace. That's why this organization is so important to me. That's why I'm so passionate about FEW, is because we want to ensure that we're the voice in the room when there's a decision that's being made that's going to impact women within the federal sector.
That's good. And I certainly can relate to that, Michelle, because my mom as well, she worked for the federal government, and I believe, too, that that's one of the reasons that I am so passionate about this work. She worked for the Department of Defense, and she trained the men who, became her supervisor. And so, for me, being in earshot, in the evenings when she would come home, talking about those situations and those matters, and it happened over and over and over again. And so trust and believe that we are voices in the room, yes. Michelle and I. We are voices in the room. In fact, some of the people, they don't like when they see the two of us coming together for a meeting, but that's okay. And so, Miss Allie, I want to pull you into this conversation, and I certainly appreciate you taking the time to share with us today, and for just always being there whenever we call you to do anything as it relates to FEW. And you're not one of those people who started out with the organization and just kind of dismissed it and we don't see you, but you are always at every major event. And so I want to thank you for your leadership. But can you talk a little bit about what went into pulling this organization together?
Excuse me. Back in the 60s, many of us had been active in the civil rights movement. And it dawned on many of us that we, of those of us who were women of color, that we were so busy with discrimination based on race until gender wasn't even thought of.